your international newspapers would have been making the headlines that the rapper, Puff Diddy, was arrested on Monday evening in New York following a grand jury indictment. And what's more shocking is, if he gets convicted, he would have to face decades in prison on charges of racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So, what allegations are going on against P. Diddy? And more importantly, how did he go from making hits to facing legal battles? Well, stay tuned till the end of this video because we're going to break down the truth behind these headlines and highlight the timeline of allegations against him. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever name you know him by, there's no denying that this man has once influenced the music industry, fashion runways, and business headlines. But behind the glamour, a storm has been looming. With lawsuits accumulating and his public appearances becoming increasingly thin on the ground, it looks like the bad boy has hit some serious trouble. As the world witnessed Sean Diddy Combs creating an empire from the ground up, no one could have anticipated the twirls and turns his life would take. So, can you even imagine that once criminalized as the king of hip-hop, Diddy is now going through a flow of legal unrest that has left fans and critics stunned? A New York federal judge on Tuesday, September 17th, ordered rapper Sean Diddy Combs to remain in jail after he pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs had been arrested by federal agents on Monday, September 16th evening, following a grand jury indictment. If convicted on all 3 counts, he faces a sentence of 15 years up to life in prison. Combs' homes were also raided in March by federal agents, and the rapper has been named in several civil lawsuits accusing him of years of physical and sexual assault. So, from shocking claims to unforeseen lawsuits, the question isn't just why P. Diddy is arrested, but how did he get here? So let's first dive into the heart of the matter. Here is a look at the key events that have unfolded since late last year. Let's first date back to November 16, 2023. Cassie says in a lawsuit that Combs subjected her to years of abuse, including beatings and Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, signed to Combs' label in 2005, and the two were on-again, off-again romantic partners for more than a decade, starting in 2007. The lawsuit filed in federal court says Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and subjected her to savage beatings. It says he plied her with drugs, forced her to have sex with other men, and her in her home as she was trying to end the relationship in 2018. Combs, through his attorney, strongly denies the accusations. Just the day after it was filed, Ventura's lawsuit was settled with a surprising speed. The terms of the agreement were, however, kept confidential. "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably," Combs says in a statement. "I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love." A week later, by November 23rd, 2 more women accuse Combs of sexual abuse in lawsuits filed on the eve of the expiration of the Adult Survivors Act, a New York law permitting victims of sexual abuse a 1-year window to file civil action regardless of the statute of limitations. The lawsuits, filed by Joy Dickerson and another woman who was not named, alleged acts of sexual assault, beatings, and forced drugging in the early 1990s by Combs, then a talent director, party promoter, and a rising figure in New York City's hip-hop community. Combs' attorneys still called the allegations false. Now here's a catch. On Nov 28, just after a series of sexual abuse allegations, Combs temporarily stepped down as chairman of his cable television network, Revolt. It would be one of several business setbacks for Combs brought on by the lawsuits. But this was not the end. Following a few days, a woman added fuel to the fire by alleging in another lawsuit that in 2003, when she was 17, Combs and 2 other men raped her. The lawsuit, filed in federal court in Manhattan, says she was living in a Detroit suburb and was flown to a New York studio, where she was given drugs and alcohol that made her incapable of consenting to sex, and the men took turns raping her. The same day, Combs posts a statement on Instagram broadly denying all the allegations in the mounting series of lawsuits. "I did not do any of the awful things being alleged," the post says. "I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." After all these circulating allegations, the start of the new year didn't seem to be too good for Combs. In February 2024, a music producer filed a lawsuit alleging Combs sexually assaulted him and forced him to have sex with prostitutes. The lawsuit gives a long list of potentially illegal activities dealing with drugs and sex that the producer says he witnessed. Again, a lawyer for Combs calls the allegations pure fiction. It was March 26, 2024, and the sun did not rise with any good news for Combs. Federal authorities raided Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles as part of a trafficking investigation, creating a media frenzy with rumors of his whereabouts. Jack Sweeney, known for tracking celebrity jets, hypothesized on social media that Diddy might be flying to Antigua. However, sources later verified he wasn't on that flight. His two sons, at his home in Los Angeles, were handcuffed during the search, Combs' attorneys said. Officials did not say whether the raids were prompted by the civil lawsuits, but Combs' attorneys said they believed they were. Combs' lawyer calls the raids a gross use of military-level force and says Combs is innocent and will continue to fight to clear his name. The attorney, Aaron Dyer, says there is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Just by the start of a new month on April 4th, another lawsuit came to screens that named Combs as a co-defendant, alleging that his son Christian King Combs assaulted a woman working on a yacht chartered by his father. The lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court says Sean Combs created the circumstances that led to the assault and paid to cover it up afterward. An attorney for the two men calls the allegations outrageous. Well, Combs' controversies didn't seem to have an end because only a month after this lawsuit, another allegation caught fire on the internet. On May 17, 2024, CNN aired a video that showed Combs attacking Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016. The video closely mirrors an assault described in her lawsuit, which said Combs had already punched her that night, and she was trying to leave the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles when he woke and came after her. In the footage, a man who appears to be Diddy, wearing only a towel, punches Ventura, kicks her, and throws her onto the floor. The lawsuit alleges Combs paid $50,000 to take away the video at the time. Combs' representatives had no immediate comment. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office says it cannot prosecute Combs for the attack shown in the video due to the statute of limitation, noting that no case had been presented to prosecutors. 2 days after this incident, Combs posted a video on Instagram and Facebook apologizing for the assault on Ventura. It's his first real acknowledgement of wrongdoing since the recent stream of allegations began. "My behavior on that video is inexcusable," Combs says. "I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I got into going to therapy, going to rehab. I had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry." Later on, by September 11th, Diddy was sued by singer Dawn Richard in a case describing years of psychological and physical abuse, including groping, that she says she suffered as he helped launch her career. Richard, a member of the girl group Danity Kane and is well known for appearing on the MTV reality show Making the Band, alleges in the suit that she witnessed Combs abuse Cassie and was afraid of the mogul. Diddy's representatives accuse Richard of making an attempt to rewrite history by manufacturing a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday, conveniently timed to coincide with her album release and press tour. After all these rising mountains of court cases, Combs is arrested on September 16th, a Monday night in New York after a grand jury indictment. No details on the charges were made public, but federal officials say they will ask a judge to unseal the indictment a day later. Combs' attorney calls it an unjust prosecution of an imperfect person who is not a criminal. As previously reported by USA Today, Combs on Tuesday requested to be released to home detention with GPS monitoring on a $50 million bond, which is secured by the equity in his $48 million Miami property and his mother's home nearby. U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky denied bail and ordered Combs to remain in custody. Combs, along with his mother and daughters Chance, Jesse, Delia, and Love Combs, have all surrendered their passports to his legal counsel. Well, Combs' arrest comes after a series of lawsuits, home raids, and multiple high-profile controversies. So, let's all see what happens next on the screens. Until then, stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.